What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another segment of AV Automatic Victory, where we all win together through peace, love, and transparency. And welcome to the third official episode of Matters of the People. Shout out to the one person that's in the podcast. I definitely appreciate you for tuning in into this special edition of Matters of the People podcast. So, in today's video, I'm going to talk about a very sensitive issue, and that is 5 things that Black women can do to not only put more respect and positivity towards themselves, but also 5 things that they can do to just help out the entire Black community, Black men and Black women, because it's a few things that I will touch up on the 5 things that I will list. But the reason why I'm doing this particular video today is because I feel as though that there are not a lot of YouTube outlets or YouTube influencers that we already know that everything that goes on within the Black women, there's a lot of issues that goes against them. And then we also know there's a lot of issues. There are certain things that Black women do that are helping the cause, that are helping both Black women and Black men be successful within their quality of life. However, there are also some issues and things that Black women should not be doing in the exact same format as well. So I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to just give you guys my top 5 things that all Black women should be doing, or rather 5 things that they should do and or things that they should not be doing. And then once I give out my top 5 things that Black women should do, if you guys are watching or continue to watch the stream, please comment. Please comment, because at the end of the day, this is not just for me. This is for the people who are interested in figuring out ways how to create an equitable lifestyle for all people, because at the end of the day, we cannot win without doing it through peace, love, and transparency. So let me go ahead and start the introduction of the video, and then I will get into my 5 top things that Black women should do, not only for themselves, but also for the entire Black community. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another segment of AV Automatic Victory. So here are 5 things that Black women, for now, I'm not talking about my Black men. There will be a 5 things that Black men should do as well, but that will be streaming tomorrow. But in today's video, for today's video live stream only, I am only going to talk about the 5 things that Black women should do. So let's get right into it. Number one, one of the things that Black women should not do, or that they should do, one of the things that Black women should do is to stop supporting causes that do not involve them. Now, to give more specific details, or for me to clarify what I mean by this, is that when it comes to Black women, I feel as though that Black women will jump on any particular subject or any particular topic that, yeah, it involves them because they are women too. But when you really go into like the origins of the issue, or rather once you get to the core of why that cause is trending, so to speak, that's when you figure out that it's not specifically for Black women. The perfect example for this particular act that Black women should stop doing. Perfect example. Late into it's like the earliest century, right around the women's right movement, right? It was a case where, rightfully so, women wanted to get the same amount of rights as men would be able to get the same type of rights, or a case may be. But what most people do not realize about the women's suffrage movement is that the only reason why the women were actually finally standing up and they were actually fighting for their right was because it was more so applied to the white women's suffrage, not the Black women's suffrage, not the Hispanic or Indian or any other of the great ethnicities women's suffrage movement. It was mainly towards white women. So I'm not saying that now, to be completely transparent with y'all, I'm not saying that black women should not be fighting for women's rights. But what I am saying is that there are certain causes that black women should not necessarily just drop the gun and automatically join into without at least doing their own due diligence. And more importantly, if they're going to join the cause, make sure that that cause is not only just going to support them, but is also going to support the entire movement. So not just black women, but also black men, black children, black infants, black everything. Because I feel like one of the reasons why there's such a divide when it comes to black men and black women is simply because we have black women that support certain causes that black men don't support, like say LGBTQ community or LGBTQ plus community, and vice versa. There are a lot of causes that a lot of black men would support, but more likely that black women would not necessarily support that particular cause or a case may be. So I think one of the ways that black women can go about spreading more positivity, not just towards themselves, but also towards the motherland community as well, is if they were to just stop jumping into causes that really aren't really causes that are going to really be more so focused on them, but focusing on all the other crap that excludes them from that particular cause. Now, number two, and I say this with all of the love in my heart because I have always been a huge black woman lover advocate. Number two, y'all need to stop attempting to be the masculine figure or the masculine role model. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean exactly as the big ass caption says. Black women need to stop trying to be the man in almost every single relationship. Now, to be clear, I am not saying that black women cannot raise men or boys or their sons or their case may be. But what I am saying is that black women, there is a lot of trauma and bitterness and frustration and wrath, if you will, that goes into play when you have a black woman, say, for example, raising a son or raising multiple sons, say, after the father, or in this case, the baby father decided to not support, his wife or his kids, or a case may be. The problem with it's not necessarily the situation which is a problem, but it's the way that we have some black women that are raising these black sons or that are raising these particular black men, individuals, to be in a certain type of element to where they're not prepped or rather prepared to be an actual man in society. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to either a black son or a black daughter, they need to have a mother and a father. I have said this for majority of my prior videos, or a case may be. Now, not every single son or daughter is going to actually have both their mother or their father, and that is perfectly understandable. But it takes a village to raise a person. It all comes down to environments. Shout out to the two people that's still watching the live stream. So if you have a son or daughter or children that are raised by a very, very great environment as a collaborative environment, and it's peaceful, it's transparent, it's loving, it's nurturing, and all of those other things, cool. That's what's up. That's the best way to raise a particular black man and black woman, or I should say black son and black or black daughter, raising it from like being in the early kid to the early child, teens, and then into the adult and even past the adult space. But when you have bitter black women that refuse any help, one, they refuse any help. They refuse any help whatsoever in terms of any assistance. And don't get me wrong, it's one thing if, for example, it's one thing if that black woman is protecting their child. That makes total sense. However, comma, if you know that there is a person, whether it be a male or female, if you know there's a person in your life that is trying to help you raise your children or at least help you be a better person or a case may be, don't shun that person out. And I feel like that's one of the problems, and that's one of the reasons why when it comes to media, we always see TV shows, reality TV shows, even movies. We see this all the time throughout our entire, throughout every single piece of media you can think of. We always see a Black woman being portrayed as the dominant. How can I say this? We always see the Black woman as both the feminine figure and as the masculine and the masculine figure. And although there's always traits of masculinity and femininity within both a male and female, the problem with that is that when you have a Black woman, literally, especially a bitter Black woman, when you have a bitter Black woman who is trying to raise a young Black boy or multiple young Black boys to be a man, or at least try to prepare them for life in terms of when they grow up, the type of lifestyle and decisions of being accountable, being able to be respectful, being able to at least be prepared, not just to take care of themselves, but also how to be transparent and authentic and to go after the dreams that they may want to accomplish. They're not going to be able to do that if a Black woman has so much damn toxicity, let alone if she's trying to portray the lessons that a male role model should be teaching them. Now, to my point earlier, that does not mean that a Black woman that's in that situation of her not having a good father role in her right doesn't have to be there. It could be her uncle, it can be her brother, it can be her best friend. As long as it's a male preference, as long as that woman has a positive male influence, like say family or friend, someone that can actually help out raise those child or children to be a positive influence. See, I'm over here struggling because I'm hot. My fault, y'all. But that's the second thing that Black women should stop doing. It is that they should stop attempting to be the main masculine figure within their bonds or relationships, wherever the case may be. So, moving into number 3. Number 3, Black women need to stop bashing each other. And what do I mean by bashing each other? Black women, we all need to do it, both Black women and Black men, but we need to do a better job of not bashing each other and going after each other. Stop mugging each other. Stop talking shit about each other. Stop trying to want to fight and pull each other's goddamn weaves out or hair out, all that other bullshit. Like, I can count more than my damn fingers and in my goddamn toes on how many videos that I would see of a Black woman going after another Black woman because of some simple dumbass shit. Whether it's, she's wearing the same outfit that I'm wearing, so I'm gonna fuck her up. She's messing with, a guy that I like or a guy that I'm talking to. So rather than, not pay attention to it, I'm gonna blow her up. No, that is the problem. We have been socially engineered mainly by white supremacy and by white society to be socially engineered for Black women to not really be supporting each other. And it's already bad enough. It's already bad enough that we have a lot of Black women that are going into, say, certain departments, such as wanting to bleach their skin just so they can get into an ideal quota or an ideal standard of being beautiful. It's bad enough that we have Black women who refuse, just literally refuse to even try to, be friends with other Black females that can be friends with, or case may be. But when it comes from the word rhetoric into like the action, like actually want to beat up other Black women, actually wanting to harm, from one Black woman wanting to harm another Black woman, that just makes the shit so much worse. It makes things so much worse. And of course, of course, of course, there are certain stipulations in terms of where a black woman can go about, handling her business with another black woman. For example, it's one thing if a black woman is getting threatened for absolutely no reason, and they're trying to actually make life more difficult for her. By all means, boo boo, if you run into a person that's actually trying to harm you in a physical, mental, spiritual, and energetical way, and you ain't done nothing to that person, by all means, I am not saying that you do not have the right to at least, try to do the best to defend yourself or try to find some way for you to get away from that situation. But what I am saying is that moving forward, I feel like black women need to get back towards actually respecting each other, actually wanting to help each other, them actually being willing to really like come together as a tribe, as we used to do centuries way before slavery. And that's another issue because for me, I was born in the 90s. I was born in 92. So growing up in I don't know about y'all, but growing up in elementary schools, or as a matter of fact, it's not even just elementary schools. The whole American education system does a very, very terrible job of actually teaching black people their real true history. Because all they teach you is what happened during slavery, segregation, particularly within Dr. Martin Luther King, and then that's it. They don't tell you everything else after the fact, unless we're talking about, like, say, black politicians, both male and black female politicians, and that's it. They don't really tell us about all the centuries of history in terms of how not just black men, but also how black women actually went about not just creating the United States of America, but also how much of an influence that we've had throughout the entire world. And rather than what we have been doing in terms of black women, in terms of us always looking at each other and being like, oh, well, she's doing this, so I don't fuck with her. Or she's trying to talk to, Tyrone or Jerome, wherever the case may be, well, since she's talking to him, I'm a fuck her up when she go in the bathroom. No, it should not come to a point to where you see one little small ass thing about another black woman and now you want to fight. Now you want to be in that goddamn bullshit and be like, oh yeah, I want to fight her. No, hell no. We already got enough goddamn targets on our back. And so particularly for my black women, we need to do a better job of actually not just being there for each other and looking out for each other, but being more peaceful to each other. It should not come into a situation to where a black woman, where two black women are walking across, from each other on the street, and they look at each other and they mean mugging each other, or one of them wants to fight them because of the energy or because they got on a certain outfit that the other black girl might want, but she can't afford it, so now she want to try to go fight that woman. No, we just need black women to just start going after with the bashing, the derogatory bashing, not just towards each other, but also towards black men as well. I feel like if we're able to get to a great point to where black women in particular can actually get along with each other and be friends with each other as well as with black men, then our race will see a lot of much more significant positive changes moving forward. Number 4, the fourth thing that black women should do, they need to stop supporting these negative ass entertainments, medias, fucking shows, reality TV shows, all that shit. My rule is this: if that particular platform, so say for example, I know a lot of people that love entertainment. They might love, say, your Love and Hip Hop or Basketball Wives or whatever the reality TV show is, or TV show, movie, whatever the case may be. My thing is this: if black women were to stop the insta promotions of such negative portrayals of black women, and rather if they did the opposite, if they actually, shared and actually put it out more content that actually showed the positive end of black women being black women on a positive standpoint, I feel like that will be one of the reasons why we would see not only would this be a reason why a lot of Black women are actually being able to get along with each other, but I do feel like should Black women stop supporting these negative betrayals of Black women and Black people in general, I feel like we would see less of not just our own race disrespecting each other, but also outside races disrespecting Black women. Because let's be honest, unless you're in a certain situation to where you know that there are certain shows that are derogatory towards Black women, and then there are also certain TV outlets or TV programs that are actually showing the real representation of Black women, that's you're not going to really know the difference between the two unless you have a very, very great supporting cast and unless you have a conscious mindset. Now, me personally, I can't stand the damn negative portrayals regarding towards Black women and Black men. I can't fucking stand it. Okay, one of my best friends that lives with me as a roommate, like, and he's on YouTube too. Shout out to Protect Sports Network. He will literally tell y'all that I am not the type of person that will. I don't watch that Love and Hip Hop shit. I don't watch that damn Basketball Wives. I'm sure the three people. Shout out to the three people that still in here. I do appreciate y'all. If you guys can name a few of those shows in the comments as well, please do so. But I just feel that for a lot of Black women in particular, yes, it is entertainment. I will give it that. It is entertainment. However, when you have entertainment that is consistently portraying the negative stereotypes of Black women, like for a young Black girl to only watch those shows, or for a young Black girl to only see successful Black women that exploit themselves through, say, music videos of them being half naked, or for that young Black woman or young Black girl to see, just whether it's music videos, whether it's TV shows, or even if it can just be a simple Instagram post, to be honest with you. It can be anything that's electronical. And it's like a representation, or at least a symbolism in terms of what that Black girl might have to be in the future just for her to be successful. No, it shouldn't come to that. We should have at least more platforms, more outlets that show that Black women can do every single possible thing that they can put their mind, body, and spirit into. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of great programs like, say, Black Girls Rock that actually do this. They don't just have their award show, but they have a lot of nonprofits. They have a lot of charities. They have a lot of organizations that are specifically designed to help young Black girls and young Black women to not only display positive reflections of themselves, but also to display positive, messages to Black women overall. My problem when it comes to, women particularly going into the negative aspect of these platforms is that rather than seeing like the positive platforms of Black women, we're more likely seeing the negative aspects of Black women, and not just Black women, but also Black women. But we do have a comment. Hey, well, shout out to Dawson. Oh my God, but no bullshit. Fucking Bad Girls Club. Oh my God, I can't. Oh my God. Oh my God, I can't stand that. And see, that's the fucking show that started all this goddamn crap. It was before Love and Hip Hop, before fucking what was it? I know I mentioned Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives, and all these other fucking shows. It was Bad Girls Club that started all of this fucking bullshit. No, thank you, Dawson, for mentioning that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you putting that show into the comments. I really, really do. But to reiterate, let me just go by what I've had come up, at least with the 4 things so far that Black women should do. Number 1, they need to stop supporting causes that do not involve Black women. Self-explanatory. If you see a movement, if you see a movement that is supportive towards like a human rights issue, but when you get to the core or the source of that particular cause, and it doesn't really include Black women, or rather it doesn't really intentionally support Black women at all, they should not support it at all. Number 2, They need to stop being the masculine figure, or rather the masculine authority, mainly because when you're a woman, you cannot. It kind of goes back to when Steve Harvey came out with that dumbass book of what was it, Dawson, or whoever's in the live stream still. I think it was Steve Harvey's. They made a movie of it as well. Act like a lady, think like a man. First of all, let me put this little jewel of information to the people that are going to either watching this stream now, or the people that are going to most likely watch this stream when I get done. No woman can think like a man, and no man can think like a woman. Why? Because when a woman is a woman, she's only going to be able to think and comprehend things as a woman, and vice versa for a man. The idea of a woman trying to think of things in terms of what a man is going to think is a problematic statement. It is a very, very problematic statement. And then the other two things that Black women should do as well is they need to stop with the derogatory bashing, not just towards each other and towards other Black women, but also towards Black men as well. And then the one that I just finished recently, Black women need to stop supporting negative entertainment that does not represent the true essence of Black women. We do have another comment. Oh God, fucking flavors of love. Oh God. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Janelle, for mentioning that show too. Cause oh boy, I don't want to change off topic, but when I tell you I cannot stand the flavor of love, flavor. Oh. Let me stop. But thank you, Janelle, for pointing out that show too, because this is the reason why I'm getting so animated and so frustrated at the same time. Like, this right here is the perfect example of how it's the fact of how we can name so many shows from, say, Bad Girls Club, Flavor of Love, Love and Basketball, Basketball Wives, all these other shows that show so much of a negative stereotype, not just towards Black women, but also towards people of melanin descent. And the fact that we can name more media outlets in that negative example, or these media outlets that portray negative standards of people of melanin descent, more than actual positive films or positive streams of media in representation of Black people, is a problem. Now, the fifth thing that Black women must do in order to not only to perform or at least create positive experiences with themselves, but also to continue positive experiences within the entire race, and both women and men, they have to continue to not only support Black women, but to support all Black people. All Black people. And when I say all Black people, I don't mean just all Black women or all Black men. I mean all Black people. It does not matter whether you are a woman, man, doesn't matter of gender, sexual orientation, what they believe, who their favorite sports team is. Doesn't matter what their preference is. God damn it. If you are trying to help the if you're a person that's trying to help people of melanin descent to promote a great quality of life through a physical, mental, energy, and spiritual sense, then God damn it, you should be loved and appreciated as Black people. Because one of my biggest pet peeves thus far, one of my biggest pet peeves is when people come out the cut, and perfect example, when it comes to Black people that support the LGBTQ plus community, I can't stand it when people be like, oh, you know what? That person, that person's Black and he's a trans. Their lives don't matter, lest the fuck they do matter. Guess what? They Black. oh, they black. Okay, they are black. It does not matter in terms of sexual orientation or in terms of preference or religion or things that they might like that someone else might dislike. At the end of the day, we need each other. We cannot continue the black race until we actually look out for each other. And the reason why I made this the fifth and final thing that black women should do is because when we really think about it, let's be real. And Janelle, I don't know if you're still on here or not, but let me know if I'm wrong. The last thing, at least to me, in my personal opinion, there are certain things that black women in general, not all, but in general, that they will support. But there are also certain things or certain types of people that they will not support. And Janelle, if I'm wrong about this, let me know in the comments. Black women do not fuck with one or more of the following groups that I'm about to mention. Black men, black men, and black men, and yeah, that's it. Now, that's not to say that all black women don't look out or support black men, but at least in terms of like a general population from an actual generic aspect, I do feel that not only are black women the ones that are actually more so consistent in terms of like social changes and also with things that they can also involve in. I do feel that there are a lot of times where black women are more of the types, they're more of the ones that are more open to change, that are more able to adapt to certain social changes, if you will. And because you don't necessarily see that from a lot of black women throughout the entire country and throughout the entire world, it doesn't get put out there in the sense of light. So that's why I feel like black women should not only continue to support each other, but they need to support black men and they need to support all black people, regardless of their sexual orientation, regardless of their religions or their spiritual preferences, regardless of whatever differences or opinions that they may have. As long as those opinions do not involve them taking someone's life or doing something negatively to a person, then all black people should be supporting each other no matter what. So, to recap, here are the 5 things that black women should do to not only create positive experiences with other black women, but also create more positive experiences for black men and for the entire black race, regardless of sex, preferences, religious beliefs, and etc. Number 1, they need to stop supporting causes that do not involve them whatsoever. None. Perfect example, the women's suffrage back in the day. Number 2, they need to stop always attempting to be the masculine figure within their relationships or their bonds, because at the end of the day, a woman can only do so much. But even if a woman was even trying to be able to raise a man in terms of what a man should be, I feel as though that is kind of like a very, very long stretch for her to actually groom a actual boy or an actual teenage boy in terms of how to actually go about things as a man, in my personal opinion. Number 3, they need to stop bashing each other. They need to stop, wanting to fight each other over some dumb shit instead of actually coming together. Like, matter of fact, I got another perfect example for number 3. If 2 girls are talking to the same guy, right, and they find out, and instead of those 2 girls actually fighting each other or beating each other up or talking shit to each other, you know what they should do? They should team up together and mess that dude up that try to play both of them. That makes more sense than these 2 girls that are talking to the exact same dude, and this dude is the main mastermind of it all. Don't fuck each other up. Don't be pulling each other's daggone weaves and hair off. Go get that Negro. Use your heads. 2 heads are better than 1, bro. That's all I'm saying. Number 4, they need to stop supporting negative content that only displays negative or derogatory stereotypes of black women, self-explanatory. And then number 5, they need to continue to not only support themselves and black women, but they also need to support all black people, including black men and Black people of unique differences as well. Now, before I finish this live stream, let me go to the comments. Um, you are kind of right, but it depends on the type of situation. I agree. And I'm glad you bought that comment, Janelle. I'm really glad that you did, because there are certain situations in regards to where Black women can do about with certain situations. Now, obviously, when I mentioned the second thing, or actually, when I mentioned the second thing that women should do in regards to Black women not in regards to Black women should stop always assuming the masculine role, so to speak. Obviously, if that Black woman doesn't have, like, say, a, a positive Black man within their life, then sure, that would be an example of an occasion to where there are times to where a Black woman can, display that young Black son to actually be respectful, how to not just be respectful towards Black women, but just how to be a respectful person. Because a perfect example is me. I'm blessed to have two great mothers in my life, and they pretty much taught me not just how to respect, my Black women and my Black queens, but they pretty much taught me how to go about interacting with people. They taught me how to talk. They taught me how to actually take my time and knew how to actually actively listen rather than be on the fuckboy shit that a lot of people tend to be nowadays. So I agree with your comment, Janelle. It is to there are certain situations to where Black women can, in some instances, can go into that role of actually grooming their sons into actually how to be a respectful and kind Black man. But overall, what I'm saying is that that particular Black woman doesn't necessarily have to be. It shouldn't be a situation where the Black woman has to be both the mother and the father, if that makes sense. If anything, the Black woman should always be able to teach their Black child or their Black children how to go about living their life as a Black woman or as a Black man. Now, there are some instances to where they can play into, say, like the feminine aspects and the masculine aspects, because I am a believer that we do have, everyone has their own feminine and masculine traits within every single individual. But me personally, I feel as though that if you are a Black woman that's actually trying to raise your son or multiple sons, and that how to actually, if you're a Black woman that's trying to do everything you can to really prepare them to be an actual grown ass man, there are certain things that women can do to prep them, and then there are other things that women cannot essentially do to prepare their son or sons to be men. That can only be taught from, say, a positive men or male role model, because there's certain things that men will teach their sons on that women wouldn't be able to teach their sons on, if that makes sense. So any any um any other comments or thoughts? Shout out to the three people that's in the live stream as well. I do appreciate you guys for not only watching my live, but also for being engageful with me as well. Because this is really like this is a very sensitive topic that I have been personally meditating on for like the past few months now. It's one of the reasons why I started making a YouTube channel, is simply because I feel as though there are not a lot of YouTubers that are out there that are actually trying to at least try to lay it out for Black people in general, in terms of what are some of the things that we can do as a race to not only create more positive relationships with each other, but just in terms of how we can actually, get ourselves back to where we were before slavery. So I appreciate you guys. Let me see if there aren't any more comments. Not that I see. Any final thoughts? Any questions? Because I'm sure there are other. Of course, there are other things that Black women can do to create more positive experiences with Black women and across the board throughout the entire Black race. However, I want to at least, go at least give it some time for me to come up with some other solutions, not just for Black women, but also for Black people in general. So, if there are not any more comments, then I will go ahead and end the stream right now. So I appreciate all of the 3 people, and I also appreciate the people who took the time to watch this live stream after I finished live, because obviously, um, as a Black man, I appreciate all of my Black people, especially my Black women. And the last thing that I want is for us, or for my Black women, to continue to be struggling as they have, not just within themselves, but also in terms of with Black men, where case may be. And speaking of which, tomorrow I will be going live stream tomorrow at this exact same time at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on the 5 things that Black men should do. So for all you Black women that feel like I just, pretty much went on a whole 41-minute rant on what Black women should do, no, 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 no. I'm going to be going to fuck off. I'm not going to fuck up, but I'm going to go off and I'm going to get on the Black men as well. Because even as me, as a Black man and other Black men, we have been slacking a lot. So if you guys are interested in watching that live stream on the 5 things that Black men should do, please be sure to make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. But for the people who have subscribed, please be sure to make sure that not only are you subscribed, but also that you have the ring bell notifications on, and you can personalize them too. You don't have to hit the ring bell and hit all. You can actually hit personalize whichever ones that you want to pop up in your notification bar on your screen, on your tablet or phone. But yes, I will be going over the five things that Black men should do, just like how I just went over the 5 things that Black women need to do in order to not only create positive experiences between Black people and Black men, but also create more memorable and positive experiences with other fellow Black women. So thank you guys so much for writing to me and for allowing me to continue to do this great and wonderful stream. And I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 p.m. on the 5 things that Black men need to do. Love you guys. And before I leave, please make sure that we are living through AV, love, peace, and transparency. Take care, you guys. I'm going to see you guys in the next one.